is Andrew Shepard, and the topic that I'm going to be discussing is what religion and spiritualities, especially regarding women, and how they relate. And I'm going to give you kind of a little summary as we go on, a little of a critique, if you want to call it that, but it's definitely going to be a reflection. And then I'm going to have a question that I want to ask you guys at the end, and hopefully we should get it all done in 10 minutes. Okay, cool. So, my tone for this video is much different than the other one, and if you saw it, you probably didn't, because I didn't get a chance to post it because I was late. That's my fault. But it's going to be really different, and like I said, it's because I can relate to this personally, and yeah, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. We'll get to that later. Okay, so first thing I want to do is watching all the videos, most of the videos, one I didn't get a chance to check out, but watching the videos and kind of just give you a summary of the main things that I brought out of each one. The first one that I was watching that I want to talk about was the video that talked about women in Muslim culture, right? I found it very fascinating. Actually, I absolutely loved this module, as I do most of them. It talked about a lot about the women in Arab culture, and how wearing the scarves. I can't remember what it was, the ex-real name, Kajib, something like that, and what it really meant. It wasn't just really putting a scarf on your head. It was a statement. It was a stance that she made in society, and it was very interesting watching and learning about all that, including modesty. I thought that was very interesting as well that I saw in that video, and mainly it talked about women being liberated, especially and across a lot of Arab countries, Egypt, France, Syria, but mainly I think most of the video focused on France. And I thought that was just very cool, very fascinating to learn about all that stuff. If you checked it out, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It wasn't too much detail, but it was very interesting, very fascinating. Something major though that I want to say that caught my attention from that video is she talked about how freedom or rights for women was different amongst different women. Like I had mentioned before about wearing the scarf. Some women have said, for them that's a sense of marginalizing, right? Okay, that's a sense of them having to submit and that type of thing, and they want to be free and they want to be equal to men, and by not wearing the scarf, that's how they represent that. But then others said, by wearing the scarf, they are free with their religion, free in their religion to represent who they want to and to be who they want to. So I thought that was very interesting. I guess next I'll talk about is the other video was women in Jewish culture, right? Sarah's Daughters. And for people who don't know, maybe they just really didn't get it, Sarah's Daughters, they call it the video, and that's because Sarah was the wife. This is the biblical figure. It was the wife of Abraham, which is the patriarch of Israel, right? One of the three great patriarchs of Israel. And there's a whole story about him and having children with her handmaiden. But more importantly, that's where it comes from, right? Abraham, the patriarch of Israel, his wife was named Sarah, and then that's where we get that Jewish culture. Jewish, by the way, a lot of people think it's a race. It's not. It's a religion. The race that usually people mistake it for is Hebrew, and that's why they come from Abraham. He's the father of the Hebrews. Yeah, you get the point. A lot of it was kind of the same concepts about modesty, covering the head and whatnot, not tempting men, which, by the way, sidebar, something I don't completely understand, and I'm not a guy that just hit at people for no reason, but it's just something that I had trouble understanding. A lot of times they said the reason for why they did that was because they didn't want to tempt men, as if that was their responsibility. You don't want to be tempted, don't look for the temptation. I was taught temperance, which is self-control, so I don't necessarily get that. But anyways, something I found interesting in that video was the same concept of covering the hair, right? But it was different, right? Okay, so the one about the Arabs and Muslim culture, right? Covering the hair, they usually had a scarf or the full face covering and head covering and whatnot, right? To cover the hair. Got it. Cool. Got it. apparently in Jewish culture, you can do that, but there's also, you can wear a wig to cover the hair. Yeah, don't get that one either. If the point is to cover the hair because it tempts men who look at your hair, why would you wear a wig, which is just another form of hair? Yeah, not clear on that one either. But there's a lot I don't know, so maybe I should look into it more. The last one that I had, which I felt most connected to, was the one that discussed women in a Christian culture, just to put it in that sense. And it basically talked about virginity. Now, this is interesting, right? You're like, oh my God, what was you about to say? Well, I guess I'm not going to say it. I'm going to show it, and hopefully you can see it here. Right here. Hopefully the focus is right. I have this right here, okay? And this, my friends, is what we like to call a purity ring. Yes, your boy's still a virgin. Yes, I am. Watching that video was very interesting. It's very, very, very relatable. And, you know, at first I was like, how does this really relate to all the women's studies and all this stuff? And I was like, no, it does. It really does. And now I know it's about women and not me, and I'm not just trying to guy that's trying to take all the spotlight. But just like the person in the video was raised, I was raised quite similarly. Abstinence, you know, waiting to have sex after marriage, okay? And I find it very, very, very interesting, just the way she was talking about it. I know she had mentioned a couple times in the video that it's very empowering. And I know a lot of times we seem to, you know, blame religion for holding us down or holding down our identity. But honestly, being able to, you know, have that strength to hold yourself, to be patient and to wait, I really think that's what's really empowering. Now, if you notice, I'm going to say this, I should have given this disclaimer before. I am a God-fearing Christian. So, most of what comes out my mouth is going to be along that aspect of knowledge, if you know what I mean. So, I do want to put that out there. What I find quite often when it comes to women and religions, right? A lot of time it's initiated in the religion that women are to submit, or that women are less. If you notice, in the Bible, it doesn't really, in the Christian Bible, this is the Holy Bible, not the Quran, not the Torah, the Christian Bible, it does not do that like the other ones do. I just find that interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of people who are claimed to be Christians that did claim to have a right to dominate over women, in a sense. You know, incorrectly, I should say. And there's just people that have done that. I can just tell you, as one who reads the Bible every day, it's just not right. It's not true. But, yeah. Just thought that was interesting. This video is kind of all over the place. I'm going to have to edit all this in anyways. But anyways, hopefully I'm getting the main point across. That is, it was a very interesting study this week. And something that I think really boils down to, because it was kind of a lot of everywhere, you know, like I said, freedom and different things to different people, you know, what people consider to be empowering, what people consider to be halting, is two completely different things for different people. Like I said, I'm one waiting to have sex before marriage, and because I am a Christian, that is what I believe. You know, and I think that empowers me. I think it means so much more. But to other people, it could be something that's very, very, you know, like controlling or stopping me, or from stopping a person from living their life. It's very just different. So I thought of a question that I should then pose, right? And I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, because I forget things. So here it is. I'm going to leave you with this. My question is, think what one person should ask themselves is, how does my faith and what I believe in relate to my social stance? And based on the answer to that question, which determines which? Does what I believe determine my stance socially, or does my social stance determine what I believe? I find that a very interesting question that I face in the mirror every single day, and I have to answer it every single day. And I would like to hear your response. I know this is coming a little late, so you may not get a chance to respond. That's okay. Maybe we just, just provide a little bit of introspection. Yeah. So, I guess that's it for this video. Hopefully didn't go too much over time. This is Religion, Spiritualities, and Women's Studies. Absolutely loved it. Hope you guys loved this insight of my personal experience. Okay. And if all minds are clear, cheers.